The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 8 of the Sunwest Construction Superspeedway Cup Series here on LSRTV. I'm Rachel, joined tonight by Gary, and as always, Cisco on the cameras. Sunwest Construction, of course, founded in 1986 and has grown into the premier construction development company on the west coast of Florida. Over the past 30 years, they've built and developed over 17,000 condominium units, and now specialise in mid-high-rise developments as well as commercial buildings and hotels, alongside Marriott and Hampton Inns. Well, they are on board here with Superspeedway Cup Series, of course, with Robbie Lyons. And well, Robbie had a good run out at Daytona in the actual Camping World Truck Series. He runs in this series as well. Of course, he brings that sponsorship onto his car and to the series. Welcome, everyone watching at home, and welcome to what is going to be another fantastic round here on the high banks of Talladega, Alabama. Gary, this racetrack, it's phenomenal. This is probably one of the fastest, biggest racetracks in the world. And boy oh boy, the racing never disappoints here.
Yeah, sometimes we usually see, well, most of the time we should be seeing 3 wide, but 4 wide of course is possible, but please, for the love of everybody else, do not do it in the corners, at least do it in the travel. I know for a fact there you have space, and also in the back straight as well. I believe sometimes 5 wide if you do choose to push it that much, but please, just don't.
Well, I believe you had Gary's words of advice there. Don't do it in the corners, folks. Do it in the right place. Too soon? Yeah, probably. Either way, of course, track facts tonight will bring those up for you to have a look at. 33 degrees of banking in turns 1 and 2, 32 in 3 and 4, 17 in the tri-oval with 5 degrees on the front stretch, 3 on the back. Yeah, there's nowhere flat at this 2.66 mile racetrack, and well, it is certainly the biggest in NASCAR's schedule. Bigger than Daytona, wider than Daytona, and longer than Daytona. This place is certainly one of the most interesting and, well, high-speed, action-packed arenas in all of motorsports. Tonight, they're out for the end of, well, just the start of qualifying here, actually. We'll get to see some times coming in for you now, and we'll get those up on your screen as they come in. Gary, qualifying here, it's important, but it's not the end of the world. But at the same time, we've seen how things can go off the early laps.
And these drivers do have 1 lap as per usual. Some people are already finishing the qualifying time. We have 8 people that have already finished there. Some people still actually just now starting out as well, beginning their out lap, I believe is the correct term. I'm seeing Rodney Walfraz, we'd ride on board with number 94. That's going to be Frank Busilia III. He did manage to win at least 1 race as well. That was round number 5 at the, well, 2016, 2018, if you will, version of Daytona, although it's more of the 2014 nighttime, round number 5. So that was, at this point, pretty much almost a month ago. If he had 3 more days, he's going to complete his lap right now on the board. 4th place as of right now. The entire top 4, sorry, pretty much everybody within the entire top 10 is within a 1/10 of a second. But if you look farther down, then, well, that's pretty much everybody from 16th on up.
Certainly is, of course. It's not a super speedway, but big news for racing fans in iRacing, of course. Pocono finally got a repave. Yeah, the build came out on Tuesday, and we have a repave for Pocono finally. Pocono is finally up to date. The one track in iRacing that we've all been crying out for an update for years, that's been probably the most outdated. We now have the up-to-date version of the Tricky Triangle. But it's not a track we'll run in this series, although it's kind of a super speedway, Gary. It's as long as this place. Perhaps it should have a special round.
That would be pretty interesting, as well as points are now up on your screen as well. So of course you can just see down the scoring as well. I'm going to get these pulled up. Rachel, you can go ahead and talk about the points.
I certainly will, of course, updated to round number 7. Corey Henry last week took the win. I said, you know, Victor Bartlett, sorry, Corey Henry was your stage winner. And that puts us in an interesting position here with Mark Jorgensen Jr., Rodney Watford, Michael Cozy Jr., Glenn Hedrick, Frank Basilia III, Victor Bartlett, Gary Champion in on wins. 7 rounds, 7 winners. Will we see 8 winners in 8 rounds tonight? We'll have to see, of course. And behind that, it's Andrew Berger, top on points for Scott Warren, Spencer Preet, Corey Henry, Levine, Flag, Lyons, and Harrington. So far we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Levine is the last across the line. But Flag just sitting shy.
Yeah, of course, he's also got to worry about Robbie Lyons and Daniel Harrington as well. But back to the topic of Pocono, like you mentioned, I mean, that's going to be pretty interesting. I have never gotten a chance to run that as of yet. It looks pretty nice as well. Of course, the team also going to smooth out some errors as quick as they can, thankfully. So, of course, that's even going to be, it's definitely going to be just that, that slight bit better that can just make it as best as it can as we're going to be gridding. But my question is, why do they call it an oval when it's really shaped as a triangle?
Absolutely, but why do they call Concord Raceway an oval as well? You could say the same thing for a lot of these places. And why do we call somewhere like Indianapolis an oval?
I have no idea. What I personally call
Phoenix.
Oh yeah, Phoenix. Well, that's close. It's close, but nonetheless,
most of these tracks are D-shaped. Either way, we're going straight to the grid now with your... Whilst we debate what shape NASCAR tracks are, we're going to go to your grid. On pole for tonight's race with a 51.005, Rod Flag will lead the field to the green flag here tonight with Ray Rittenhouse second, Mark Jorgensen Jr., Harry Tiller, and Frank Basilia III in 5th.
6th is going to be Josh Henner, Richard Reagan Jr. starting 7th. 8th is going to be Michael Cozy Jr. 9th, Jason Altman is going to be starting 9th, and 10th place is going to be Scott Warren.
11th place tonight will be Spencer Preet with Andrew Berger, just the one in on the points without a win. John Lutke, 13th, Gary Champion, and Travis Brown.
Rodney Watford starting in 16th in that number 3. Paul Simpson-Payne starting 17th. 18th, Mike Thiel is going to be in that number 61. Daniel Harrington and TJ Buck are 19th and 20th.
Certainly our 21st tonight is Corey Henry with Alex Russell, Daniel Holloway, Corey Smith, Joey Piccolella.
Justin Levine starts 26th. Your last week's winner starts in 27th. 28th, Nick Olson, the last driver to take a lap time. 29th and 30th are going to be Joshua Schwartz and Andrew Schmier.
They are indeed. And 31st tonight will be, of course, Mike Schultz with Chris Bassini and Raymond Lee. So we have a full grid of 33 cars taking to the track tonight. All 33 cars are in the race, and well, this track is about to come alive with the sound of V8 engines as we'll begin the pace lap here at Talladega. Getting ready to go racing tonight for 75 laps. We'll have our stage on lap 40 tonight, Gary, which gives these guys time to reset, of course, race for some extra points.
Now, once again, it's just going to be, I believe, like I said last week as well, you just have to time that perfect and make sure you actually get the correct timing as pretty much as best as possible. We've seen some people, I believe it was, I remember seeing the 88 was, oh my goodness, that's just said, Jorgensen Jr. was just suddenly appeared in 6th on the restart just at the right time for him. Unfortunately, I don't see him. Now, there he is. He's in 3rd, actually. So he is here. So maybe he's going to make another surprise appearance as well.
When it comes to Jorgensen Jr., anything is possible. And well, field now pacing onto the backstretch here. Alabama Gang super stretch. And well, half a lap remains before we head to green for tonight's festivities. And our front row, Flag and Rittenhouse second, Jorgensen Tiller, Basilia Hanna, Reagan Cozy, Altman's Warren. So what a heck of a top 10 we've got for tonight's race, and one heck of a field. I'm looking forward to this absolutely so much, Gary, because this racetrack, it always has the best racing in the whole series.
Yeah, Talladega is, personally, as compared to Daytona, Daytona is fun, but I do love Talladega a lot more just because it's a lot more wide, and I don't have to worry about getting squeezed up into the wall because I know there is a clearly marked 3rd lane. In fact, all 3 lanes are marked, but I'm pretty sure the only time that third lane will come into effect, and I mean that very top side against the wall, is well, either when the stage end arrives or when the race end is starting to close in.
Certainly is, of course, and this place just has that vibe to it. The speed, the width, it just gives so much more racing possibilities, of course. At Daytona, it's a little procedural. Things are a little practical, a little safe. Here, not so much. Everything's on the line at Talladega, and that pace car will now take the long left-hand turn below the yellow line, make his way to pit road. He'll be back tonight at some point, I can guarantee it. Field under the command of Rod Flag here. Crowd on their feet as we go through the tri-oval. That start-finish line on the approach to turn number 1. Starter has a flag in his hand. Green flag waves, racing at Talladega. A great start by the field there. Rod Flag, Rittenhour second on the front row. Rittenhour drops back a little bit with the outside lane, just falling back to him. Tiller not quite able to push as much as he needs. Some cars moving down to the low side, but majority of the outside lane holding strong. 3 wide already there as he just can't find a place to fit in. That is the 69 of Harry Tiller. Finds himself in the middle there. We're 3 wide already. Welcome to Talladega. Oh, a little bit of contact and we're going to wreck already.
This is a
and
huge
the
one.
Quarterback is toast as the field gets this one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for the big one, you did not have to wait long. That was the whole darn field. Replay coming up.
I'm looking at
Tiller comes down. It's the 97.
Goodness, that was, yeah, he was just trying to scramble and find the place in line. But unfortunately, he couldn't just find that one spot. He was just, oh my goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was absolutely huge. And I think nearly everybody from about 5th place backwards just got a piece of that one. I think a lot of cars are now going to be onto their backups, and this could be a very quiet race as everyone realises they have no cars left. But a number of cars made it through, including Mike Thiel from 18th place. Victor Bartlett from 27th is now up in 9th place. So yeah, we just shuffled our field. This doesn't normally happen. We don't normally have the big one before we get a lap on the books. But, well, tonight, I guess it's a full moon.
Yeah, it sure seems that way as well. As the 2 of Josh Hanner, he luckily manages to get through it. I don't think he even got a single piece of it. I'm looking back. No, he got very lucky. So he survived that. He's in 4th right now, and I'm just seeing an entire mass. I'm just going to assume that we had about 10, 15 cars in that. There's no way I can count that.
At least 15 cars were involved in that one, so a lot of these guys heading to pit road now just for repairs. Yep, before the end of lap 1, and we have carnage on the racetrack. That was massive, ladies and gentlemen, and well, I think it woke everybody up. If anybody here was expecting a quiet race at Talladega, that is not going to happen. As we'll see just who got a piece of the action there. Rod Flag, Jorgensen Jr., Frank Basilia, Josh Hanna, Spencer Preet, all of them pretty happy right now. Actually, Josh Hanna, actually the top 4 are the only ones that really survived that. That wreck happened from 5th place backwards. A lot of cars are junked after that. 4 cars survived that ahead of the wreck. We're not sure exactly who else did make it through. We know Preet from 11th place did. Thiel, Bartlett, Piccolella, Levine, Brown possibly made it. No, Brown did not make it through. Basically, 9 cars survived that we're aware of. 24 cars possibly were involved in that wreck, as far as we can tell. NASCAR math.
Yeah, I counted roughly, and I could count at least... I counted 16, and then I saw just a few more getting involved, and I couldn't tell who was what. So I'm going to take a rough estimate, of course, like you said, NASCAR math, and go with about 20 drivers involved at the very least. I'm still seeing at least 19th on back still in pit road, at least as of right now, as some of them leaving pit road as well. So pretty unfortunate, as I'm seeing actually, though, with pit lane time overall. Well, I'm seeing 8th on back, so yeah, about 7 cars survived that.
Not a great night for some of these drivers. Well, they'll be onto their backup vehicles for the night, and Yeah, that could change how they race in this one, but we have at least 9 guys here who could race with everything still intact and have spare cars. A lot of these guys probably will get some repairs done, but keep it out of the track. A lot of them, though, had pretty heavy hits, so a lot of backup cars just got wheeled out of the hauler, and I think it's the first time we've ever had a traffic jam down the garages.
Yeah, on the bright side, though, for them, they did manage to actually, at least they survived most of it to the extent of where they can drive it back to pit road, at least as far as I know, because no doubt most of those drivers had heavy damage. So, in fact, I'm still seeing one other driver with extremely heavy damage as well, so he's still going, and that's number 22 of Joey Piccola. His entire, at least from what I'm seeing, his entire front end is pretty much gone, and, well, the rest of his car is clean.
Normally we wait till lap 45 or 50 before we have someone trying to run modified, but I guess tonight it's lap number 1.
Not even before lap, well, yeah, pretty much on lap 1 actually, as we're going to cross the line. Pace car lights are still on, so I'm going to go ahead and assume this is the 2 lap to green, so we made it almost an entire full lap. I'm thinking about 2.4 or so miles, but just before that, maybe 2.5. So we were close. We almost completed 1 lap, and then, well, unfortunately that wasn't the case, and that was just pretty much a miscommunication of where you're going to be going in 3Y. You know, you have to use at least the middle lane and stick to that. Unless someone else is using that, well, in that case, you might as well just hope for the best and at least just hold your line as best as possible.
Oh, absolutely. When we talk about avoidable, of course, Harry Tiller caught himself 3 wide in the early running of this thing, but perhaps it's been a couple of weeks Harry's not been behind the wheel of the car because he wobbled around and came down into where a car was running and unfortunately turned that car, that was a 97, up the field into the outside wall. Jason Altman's had a very rude start to this race.
Yeah, well, so far, you did mention the pace car was going to be out. Of course, we didn't really expect it to be pretty much before the completion of lap 1, so again, just really unfortunate for these drivers.
Do you think he'd parked yet?
Probably not. I'm pretty sure he's enjoying this extra pay that he's definitely getting at the moment, at least.
Absolutely, and well, as the field will come round, we'll have probably one to go next time by, and we'll be able to get you back to racing here. So if you were late to the show, don't worry, you've missed nothing, apart from the entire field dying. So, yeah. Wow, other than the only, I don't think the last time, I don't even remember the last time we saw something like this, Gary, in this series. It's been a very long time before something that big happened that fast.
As soon as I saw about 2 or 3 cars getting turned around, like I said, I knew it wasn't going to end well, and, well, it didn't. I only saw the first half of the wreck as well from the camera that I've been watching it from, and, well, of course, when I switched to a better camera angle, at least from the top of the grandstands, viewing turns 3 and 4, well, of course, I saw what I did expect, and, of course, that's pretty much just heavy junk, although quite reminiscent of about 2014, I believe.
It certainly was. I think the last time we had that many people crowded in Turn 4 at Talladega, they just opened a new Five Guys.
Okay, that was clever, of course. Pace car lights are out. We're going to be going double file, and of course, well, I'm going to take a look once again. Pretty much no change, if you will, at least for Rod Flagg. Of course, he's still in first place. I'm looking right now. Victor Bartlett, well, he did start 27th. Well, he's in 7th right now, so everything's going great for him so far. At least 7th or 8th, I should say.
This is what we mean about the advantage of starting at the very front or the very back. In either of those places, you usually get to miss these big incidents early on from restarts. Just, I think a lot of these guys hoped it wasn't that soon. But yeah, biggest mover so far. Victor Bartlett up 20 places inside of a lap, basically.
Well, yeah, like, again, just advantages of staying in the back or not taking a qualifying time as well. It looks like Jorgensen is doing some severe saving, or he's got some problems. Nope, he's back up, actually. In fact, I don't think that was
saving fuel.
I think that was Jorgensen that was on the apron. I saw somebody on the apron. I think, no, it wasn't Jorgensen. I saw Exalta, so I assumed that was
big advantage. They might make it to the stage at 45 now. Or 40, sorry, no. We are guaranteed to make it to the stage now on one further stop. So that will make things nice and simple.
And it's true, so at least it's even amount of laps, and that was number 50 of John Ludke. Again, I saw Exalta, but apparently, I think John Jorgensen had a plan to at least run similar paint schemes. I saw at least the colors are inverted, that's all I can tell. So, if you're looking for Jorgensen, he's the guy in the, well, he has the guy with the mostly yellow car.
A nice simple definition there on who's who in this race, but well, we're getting our cars up and ready for this one and ready for the restart here. Maybe this time we'll make it a lap. We'll take bids, I guess, but we'll see exactly what will happen as this race gets back up and running. Only cars down laps: Richard Reagan Jr. down 2 and PJ O'Leary down 3. They're all in the field. Those were all ones from thingy, and green flag has flown, of course. They're across the line into turn 1 as it seems somebody else already wants to take it 3 wide. It's the 14 car has already popped out to go on the 3 wide. I think that's a 14 as far as I can read his number. And that would be Nick Olsen, who decided he wanted to go backwards, I believe. Probably a safer place.
Probably a smart move as well. Alright, well, we almost made it. Let's see if we can make it through the corner this time. Relatively single file through the front. Jorgensen is dropping back, unfortunately for him, through turns 3 and 4. I don't see anybody 3 wide at the moment. And hey, we made an entire lap. Awesome. So it looks like everybody...
There we go. So first.
Everyone's fine. Well, we're almost there. Looks like we're finally going to be getting our first green flag lap, led by Rod Flag, who's scrambling, trying to figure out where everyone else is going. We've got John Henry right behind him, and here comes Jorgensen back up to the front. Victor Bartlett as well.
Absolutely, and a lot of them moving around quite a bit here on the racetrack, but they're doing exactly what they need to do, of course, as the field shuffles and moves itself around. Corey Smith at the back of that grouping on the inside line, as the cars will race down the backstretch here. The 50 machine up there, that is Jonathan Ludke. He is new to running at the front of the group, not seen him here much at all. 91 on the high side, Alex Russell. That's Rod Flag up at the race sharp, and Jorgensen, Hanna, Bartlett, Preet, Thiel, and Travis Brown. Your top 7, all regular names up at the sharp end, and well, they're keeping it largely single file for the moment, apart from Jorgensen Jr. up on the high side, trying to do something, but just not making it work just yet.
He had actually gotten left out to dry too by Bartlett, so I'm pretty sure Victor was thinking, alright, well, this outside line isn't working just yet, so I'm going to take the inside line and see what happens from then on. Well, somebody with totally different plans is going to be that number 01, Travis Brown on the high side. He went in front of Jorgensen, almost got turned there by mistake as well. That's also going to be another thing to watch out. And here comes Victor now to the high side, so I believe he changed his mind, or he believed that somebody else is going to jump out to the high side as well, as everyone's trying to go at least as best as possible bumper to bumper, and that's working out so far. Bartlett gets the edge on Rod Flag as of right now, so new leader is going to be Bartlett. He's actually going to clear Flag right now.
He is.
Oh, goodness.
And Bartlett just dropped down to the low side, leading the race now. Victor Bartlett in that 42 Napa Auto Parts machine. Rod Flag, the 23 car behind him. The 01 of Brown on the high side with the 88 of Jorgensen Jr. 2 of Josh Hanna, behind him on the low side. Preet behind him, and behind them is Ludke. Top group there, breaking away somewhat here. The top 7 cars starting to make a bit of a gap with the 91 car there of Alex Russell. Thiel dropped back as well. Piscini and Wofford on the high side working forward with Altman, the 97. Those 3 cars all were involved in the incident, of course, so they're having to work their way forwards here. And that's going to take them some time, but they are working together and they are teammates.
It's also going to take a little bit longer as well, because I'm seeing Wofford with a little bit of damage as well, so that's going to be, well, actually, never mind. Looks fine. So, actually, no, he doesn't have any damage, so he is fine. But, yeah, it is going to take a while for them to get up to the high sides as well, or at least catch up to those front 6, or those front 3, I should say, they're on the high side, and that's, once again, that's actually now going to be Hanner, Brown, and Jorgensen Jr., I should say. Spin, Chris Piscini in turn 1. Or turn 3, I should say, and, well, this is another huge wreck, about 5 cars.
Absolutely, Chris Piscini there gets turned by his teammate, and he moved in on the bumper of Rodney Wofford. We'll get the replay up for you. But Chris Bassini, he just kind of slides across the bumper. His teammate gets hooked a little bit, turns sideways, gets tipped by Thiel. Can't help returning up the racetrack and collects a bunch of cars. Andrew Berger, the 14, and many others there. 4 or 5 cars involved. We are back under yellow flag conditions here, and well, I think some of those 5 cars might be out of this one, considering most of them are on backups already.
Levine did barely make it by as well, so about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, about 5 cars involved, and some of them coming into the tail end, but Levine with a nice awareness to avoid that wreck getting down to the apron as well.
He certainly did, just about narrowly avoided it, but, well, the curse of Talladega and the big ones keeps on coming. And that was something that I'm sure they'll discuss after the race, of course, but that was Bassini and teammate Wofford who had a bit of an issue, as we see just how fickle the front bumper can be. Well, yeah, folks, we'll be back in just a moment's time. We're going to step away for a quick commercial break. We'll be back before the green flag.
The best late model stock drivers in the country kick off 2018 racing for $10,000 at Tri-County Motor Speedway when the Cars Tour visits for the Do the Do 150. Bring a Mountain Dew product to save $3 off admission, or Do the Do 4-pack with 4 tickets, 4 dogs, and 4 dews for only $60. Gates open at 1, racing begins at 3 on Saturday, March 10th. Advance tickets are on sale now. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit carsracingtour.com.
I'm Ryan Priest. I'm driving the number 20 JGR Toyota Xfinity car this weekend. Really great opportunity here at New Hampshire at my home track. Over the past few weeks, I've been on iRacing, practicing a little bit here and there with the modified and the NASCAR Xfinity car, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great tool for me to kind of get used to that stock car body again and be prepared for the race today. Well, yeah, it's a mile long, so the draft kind of plays into effect here with the modifieds. Punches a big hole in the air, and we run restrictor plates. So it makes a big difference. Just really fast, and it's our Daytona. So that's what's great about it, and we have a fast car for tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is they're heavier cars. The tire's a lot different. And the way you go about setting them up is a lot different. They use all 4 tires more than a modified, where we typically drive off the right rear, you know, so. Well, actually, it's funny. I raced NASCAR race in 2003 before iRacing came about. And then when iRacing came about, my friend Kevin Iannarelli, who works at iRacing, kind of told me, hey, man, you need to switch over to this. And when I did, I was like, oh, my God, this is like real life. So I started using it as a tool of mine to really prepare for modified races, whether it was Stafford or Thompson or Loudon, Bristol, and then obviously the Xfinity Series last year, going to road courses, trying to get laps, and use it as a tool that can get me as prepared as I could be without actually doing it. So it's been great.
more than impressive, I have to say. I mean, the track is identical to the real track. I was blown away how realistic it is. Every little bump, every little spray paint, everything is exactly like you were there at the track. It was a great experience. This is a warm-up lap now. Tires to get warmed up. The engine. Breathe a little bit here when you go through that little bump there. And then it's flat pretty much all the way through here, just about. Hard braking. This is the slowest part of the track. And then I've done, you know, I did many races in Formula 3, Formula 2. And then I did the very last race they did there in Group C in 1983 in the 956 Porsche. That's when Beloff got the lap record at the 6:11. I think I was second on the grid with the 6:14 or something, which was, I mean, those cars were awesome around there, of course, like any car is, you know, that speed. And this is the corner of all corners here, the Schwerenkreuz. Flat all the way into it. And then trail brake all the way into the apex here. And hard at it again to get good speed down the hill here. Mega fast down this hill here. Just jump from one apex to the next. Gotta be super precise here. I mean, it's almost exactly like the real thing. So, I mean, it is certainly realistic enough to get past the very, you know, a lot of the initial hurdles you have when you try to learn to drive a race car, you know. So, I mean, I think it's an excellent tool to learn how to race for sure, or learn to drive a car on a racetrack.
Welcome back to the Superspeedway Cup Series here on LSRTV, brought to you by Sunwest Construction. Back to racing here, going to be heading back to the green flag, this time by, the field is racked and stacked. It's Bartlett, field champion, Preet, Jorgensen, Hannah, Brown, Flag, Levine and Altman's in your top 10. We're going to get ready after the incident involving Chris Bassini, who's managed to get a backup car going and get himself back out on the racetrack here. A lot of these guys in last chance saloon after the two incidents so far early on tonight, and pace car will take the dive down to pit road, leaving the field at the command of Bartlett. We wait for that command to start racing once again. Green flag flies and we're back to racing. The track, it seems, as field doesn't quite get the start he wanted. Flag drops down behind Jorgensen Jr., an optimal start for him. And well, issues for Preet possibly there in the race as Bartlett, Brown, Jorgensen and Flag get a great start here actually. That's champion, sorry, in the 18, the one of Brown behind them. Preet's dropped down to the low side as well, leaving 18 champion goes up. He wants to win another race, of course, one-time winner this season so far. Gary Champion has gold in his eyes. He wants another chance at that title, and we'll see just how much he wants to push for that. Coming back to the flag this time by, and counting the lap in our books onto lap number 16 this time by, and Gary a little bit more patient this start as everyone's just trying to filter down and run some laps.
Yeah, no doubt everyone's already tired of all these cautions that they've had, and trust me, I would be too if I was racing. But luckily I'm not. I'm up here in the booth, and well, unfortunately for this top side, the 18 and the 61, they're dropping back really quickly, and well, there goes Justin Levine was a little bit loose coming out to number 2, or maybe just dived down a little bit so much trying to follow that draft. But like you mentioned earlier, just before the commercial break, it's I wanted to expand on that as well, where you just have to be careful when you're pushing the driver in front of you, because it's always that very one small part of the nose that pokes out, and you can't really tell until, well, next thing you know, you're hooking that person right in their quarter panel, and well, next thing you know, they go around in front of, well, hopefully nobody, or in most cases in front of everybody, especially at Talladega. But hopefully that happens up the back straightaway, where you can just lock that down and get out of everybody's way as quick as possible. So that's something these drivers you have to be careful with, is where they push with their front bumpers.
Certainly are, and the front bumper's always an issue, especially since we lost the air bubble we had with previous builds. It's been this way for like a season and a half now, that it's just so easy to get to the front bumper of the car, or the back bumper I should say, the car in front of you, that now we're seeing a lot more tipping related incidents, a lot more cars getting next to each other and just not quite centering. They're hooking the car in front and it's causing issues for the drivers, of course. And speaking of having issues, out on the outside lane, Mike Thiel, and I believe that is the number 69 of Harry Tiller, falling back on the outside with no help there. Hannah Breed is edging just ahead of him, otherwise it's single file for it seems the majority of our field, actually, apart from a little bit further back. Got a good line here with Reagan Jr. leading this run on the outside, the 46 machine there. This is all the way back here as Reagan Jr. and Cozy Jr. gets through. They're going to move themselves across down to the low side now. 34 comes with them, 84 left to the high side with the 87 and the 50. As right at the back racing is too wide. More action back here than at the front.
Now a little bit of action at the front as well. I'm seeing Corey Hendry starting to make the outside line work with Rodney Walford. And he's actually doing an amazing job so far. And okay, well, maybe getting a little bit too close with that side drafting, but at the moment he is doing great. He had a good run when that inside line checked up. Heading into turn number 1, Rodney goes around in front of the 61 and the 69 as well. Sorry, the 26 of Holloway is also involved. I'm seeing most people just barely managing to avoid it as well. So, unfortunately, Rodney Walford is even worse luck now.
That seemed to be, and I'm going to break the fourth wall here, but massive net code as no one was touching him at the time. But Rodney Walford goes around, and that is just unfortunate. Caution number 3 will fly here as, well, the caution that didn't need to be a caution became a caution.
Yeah, coming out of turn number 2 was Rodney Walford, and I'm looking, it looks like, yeah, he just broke loose, unfortunately. So maybe the air was just getting taken off just a little bit too quick, unfortunately. And Corey makes it by. The 61 and the 26, not so much. And the 61 takes a hard shot to the inside as well. Chris Passini barely gets by that. Goodness, about 3 or 5 feet, just barely separating them. So luckily, Chris Passini does make it by as well. But unfortunately for the 3, the 26, and the 61, not so much.
Not at all, unfortunately for them. It's going to be an interesting impact on their race. I think a few of those don't have backups anymore, so that could be quite a decisive incident for them. But Reagan Jr. gets a lap back, of course. He wants that one. This will wave him around, of course, being the lucky dog. Back on to the lead laps. The Art of Ruin machine will be back on lap number 20 with the rest of the field, as they catch the pace car now in turns 3 and 4 and get ready to run round and round and round at a very slow speed to catch that pace car and get themselves service on pit road. Of course, now you are free to come onto pit road here, of course, Gary, get a service, and you're good to the end of the stage.
Yeah, and you have to be even more careful getting into your pit stall as well. Make sure you don't overshoot that just by the slightest, because, well, of course, that's something that you're definitely going to have to take care of. And of course, another thing though, for these early runs, I was looking at Victor Bartlett in pit road. He didn't take any tires, so I'm pretty sure at this rate everyone's just going to be taking tires at least between now and the end of the stage at lap 40. So once again, it's just I'm pretty sure they will be worrying about tires at least after the stage, or maybe not. Maybe at least take one set, maybe right sides or left sides. It just all depends on how you're handling this race.
Certainly does, of course, and we'll find out just how they want to handle it after we see this. But Jorgensen Jr. the first off pit road, along with, I believe that is, if I take a quick look at him, Spencer Preet. So Spencer Preet, Jorgensen Jr., Rod Flag will be up there, and I think maybe 1 or 2 have stayed out. Possibly the 50 is one of those cars from what I'm seeing up ahead, has chosen to stay out, and I think that is in fact him. That would be where I find his number in our lists.
John Ludke.
That's John Ludke, it is. He stayed out. John Ludke stayed out as one of the few. So, interesting choice by him. pitting now would have set him to the end of the stage. He may be the only one that has to pit, which could be unfortunate if we go green. Bit of a gamble, but on tonight's performance so far, is it really?
Yeah, so far, of course, maybe he knows some, again, maybe he's been doing an excessive amount of saving pretty much ever since that first caution came out, so I would be too as well. I'd be saving as much as possible every single caution, at least every single chance I've gotten. So he is on the apron right now, and so is Spencer Preet and a few other drivers in the background as well. That's from what I'm seeing. So of course they're definitely doing some saving. So we're going to see if John Lucky is either going to come in, maybe he was just staying out for that one extra lap. He is still below the yellow line, so we're going to see if he comes in this time by, and looks like he will not be going in. So maybe he has done that extra amount of saving. Maybe he's anticipating another caution as well. So at this point, we're going to have the front two rows with Exalta, just inverted color paint scheme.
Yeah, there's no amount of saving you could have done to this point to make up 20 laps to save you to the end of this race. So that's borderline. I mean, we had a caution about 5-10 laps ago, so not implausible, but he's not making an extra 10 laps out of this. So he's going to have to come back at some point, that's for sure. But I think a gamble on another caution isn't beyond the stretch. But any more cautions and we start losing a high number of cars in this thing. As I believe we have lost Daniel Holloway, is our first permanent victim, as is Frank Basile III and Nick Olsen, all are permanent retirements. So 3 full-on retirements now, and every caution from this point onwards. Some of these guys are on their last chance. This will be it.
At this rate, it's definitely, this is pretty much the time where you have to forget about stage points at the very least. Well, maybe. It just depends. If you're on your backup car, then you might as well at least just play it safe and wait until the end of the race to let everyone else wreck each other out, or at least anticipate and hope that happens, because you definitely don't want to get involved in that. So if you do have if you do have a backup car available, though, then in that case, it just depends on when you time that move towards the front. If you time it just right, again, I'm thinking at least within lap 30 to 35, if you time that right and start making your way up as quick as possible, then in that case, well, you're pretty much good to go then. But of course, it's always going to come down for at least lap 40 is going to be the completion of lap 40 is going to be pretty much a mini checkered flag, if you will. But of course, the race is definitely not going to be over by then.
No, certainly not. And a lot of race left to go for this one, of course. 75 laps in tonight's race, and we've got about 53 to go. So still a lot of racing to cover.
Yeah, and this time around, we definitely should be getting the one to go signal. I'm pretty sure that pace car driver is definitely getting extra pay right now. So I'm pretty sure he's enjoying this right now as well. Of course, he's having a lot of fun just driving on this 2.66 mile track, and it's really wide. Unfortunately for him, though, he can't really go anywhere else. He has to stay in the middle of the racetrack, unfortunately. But so far, he is leading laps, at least in his mind. I'm pretty sure he's definitely enjoying this as well. But nonetheless, pace car lights should be out this time around, crossing the start finish line. Yep, so double file right now. We're going to have the two Exalta cars on the front row. That's John Ludke and Mark Jorgensen Jr. inside and outside, 50 and 88. Spencer Preet and Rog Flag 3rd and 4th. 5th is going to be Jay Altman, Josh Hanner, Victor Bartlett, Gary Champion, Justin Levine, and Harry Tiller round out your top 10 for this restart.
It certainly will, of course, and we will get back to green flag racing here very, very shortly. It'll be lap 24 we race on to with the flag. And right now, yeah, 2 Exalta cars leading the way. The 37 and the 23. 297, 4218, 469, and even more. This race, of course, is brought to you, like we mentioned, by Sunwest Construction, but it's also brought to you by the likes of, well, our personal favourite, of course. And I wish I could stop scrolling past things while I'm pressing my push to talk button. You know what, we'll bring it up to you later, but check out Dual Real Timing. We'll tell you more about it just after this, because Dual Real Timing is a fantastic tool, and if you want to find out We'll tell you more in just a moment's time. But for now, the green flag will be coming up for us, and it is, of course, the 50, the 88, 37, 23. Being prepared to go racing here, and as my producer is telling me, printers are a thing. Yes, but I'm responsible and I run a paper-free studio here in my office, so...
What's a printer?
Printers are not a thing for me, actually. But I digress, as I'm getting yelled at by Cisco yet again, and well, the race will be getting back underway, and now I'm being told tablets are a thing. He has an answer for everything, that man, Gary.
Yep. I'm pretty sure he's just trying to figure out some excuse for you to not be ready. But nonetheless, Ford Mustang GTI Racing first pace car, longest title I have ever said, dives to the safety of pit road, hard left-hand turn. Of course, as stated multiple times in the actual NASCAR races, 1,000 feet is the difference between the Daytona start-finish line and the Talladega start-finish line. Well, we're traveling those extra 1,000 feet. Green is out. John Monkey is already down and away. And these drivers will be heading down side by side into turns 1 and 2 once again for the, well, 24th time, if you will. Side by side in the corners, getting green, black flag, and the 88 of Jorgensen on the high side. But that high line is already dropping back right now, as Lucky and Preet are already getting a hard charge on the inside.
Behind them, looks like Chris Massini's making a bit of an unwise decision, as he ended up 3 wide in the traffic back there, the one car. Caught in a very awkward position considering he's on his backup of his backup. He drops back in line here behind the 91 car of Alex Russell. They'll maintain that 2 wide lane there up as far as the 18. As the 88 drops down, that's Andrew Schimmer. Gets himself to the low side as the top 10 basically back to Josh Hanna. Are sitting in single file at this point. Hanna playing a very safe game for now. Look across the line, and well, it is Brown, champion on the high side with Tiller, and Schimmer back behind them. It's quiet out of front. These guys wanting to run laps.
Yeah, and I saw in the travel just pretty much half a lap ago, Raymond Rittenauer got a little bit loose in the travel, most likely got a piece of that apron, almost made contact with the 16. In fact, yeah, he did. He made a little bit of contact with the apron, manages to save it, barely got a piece of the grass, and well, almost comes into the 60 of Mike Schultz, and the 34 of Joshua Schwartz manages to take evasive action. So all those 3 drivers are still just within each other, but of course, hopefully, I'm pretty sure Rittenauer is now thinking, okay, maybe I shouldn't run too close to the yellow line. As now he is giving that yellow line a little bit of space. And looking on the high side.
But we were about to bring it up before, but I pressed my push to talk and scrolled the wheel to go down a document, and it ended up blowing it up to a ridiculous size. I couldn't read a thing, but I was going to tell you guys about Joel Real Timing. And coverage of the Superspeedway Cup of Court Horse is brought to you by Joel Real Timing, and that is the official timing software of LSRTV. Whether you spend your time on the sim behind the wheel, on the pit box, or from the spotter stand, JRT is the go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. Get yourself a basic download or get the pro version today at joel-real-timing.com. That is joel-real-timing.com. That is very, very good stuff to use, actually. Really, really good technology and well worth using. But up front, it's still Ludke leading the way from ahead of Spencer Preet, Jason Altmans, Victor Bartlett, Mark Jorgensen Jr., Rod Flagg, Levine, Hanna, Brown, and Henry, your top 10. In fact, they're the breakaway top 10.
I may or may not be using JRT right now. Of course, I've always used it, and I definitely will keep using that. And well, you did mention that top 10 breakaway. Well, there's we have 11th, 12th, and 13th all right next to each other, and well, they're going to make that top 10 a top 13 breakaway. And then there's everybody else, starting with Alex Russell in that 91, Rodney Walford in the 3, Mike Schultz, and Raymond Rittenauer, who is actually taking a little bit of evasive action. But up at the front, I'm seeing 12 with Corey Henry, trying to side drop the 01 of Travis Brown right now, and well, pretty much about 4 cars just simultaneously jumped up to the high lane.
Yeah, perhaps coordinating some sort of movement here. In fact, led by, I believe that is Jason Altmans, along with Bartlett, Jorgensen, Flagg, who drops back down again. Looks like he doesn't want to be any part of this attack as he drops back in front of the 4 of Levine there to hold his position. Flagg changes his mind yet again. No, and goes back down again. I've heard Flagg really picky about where he wants to be in tonight's race so far.
And unless you're Jason Altman, then in that case, well, you just helped yourself and Victor Bartlett up to the front once again, or at least the top two. If you're Bartlett, you're stuck in second, but right now it's going to be Jorgensen making his way in front of Rod Flag right now, and Justin Levine, Justin Levine is now on the receiving end of a high lane charge at the moment by Josh Hanner and Corey Henry.
Yeah, unfortunately Jorgensen got a little bit dumped by the 97 and the 42. Helped them up to the front, and then they just pulled down and said thank you very much, so we'll take that one.
So it looks like some of these drivers are already deciding to make their way to the high lane. Jorgensen's a little bit indecisive, or maybe he's just trying to cool his engine down, but we have 4x4, should I say 2x4, I know how to dimensions, but nonetheless, well, Chris Bassini is now going to be dropping back just a little bit. He's going to be maybe dropping behind the 38 of Schmier right there. Maybe not. He's probably going to stay on the high side, at least staying in the middle. So again, just trying to keep that momentum as best as possible, as we have pretty much a, if you will, a 6-car battle, technically for 7th, as everyone is already, it's going to be for 6th actually, in just about 10 and a half laps time right now. Or sorry, I should say 10th.
Yeah, it certainly will be. And back in the 10th place right now, it's Brown on the low side there. Ahead of him is Corey Henry, Josh Hanna on the top side with Tiller and Bassini with the outside crew. Will Hanna decide to drop down? He does indeed. He abandons that quest to the front and says, you know what, I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I'm going to sit and cruise for a bit, but they're going to carry on and see what they can get done. But 3 cars, it just doesn't seem to be a lot. Up he comes again. Josh Hanna going to try and give them a bit of a pull into turn 1, but he has a safe opening to drop back into should he need it. Which of course gives him a lot of options here, Gary, to pick from. Now, of course, Brown came down, 12 came down, 69 and the 1, the only ones up on the outside, as all round goes Bartlett. We're going to replay of what happened to him there, but Bartlett from the front gets a rude ejection from this race, and it was a bumper hook from the 50. This is what we said, you're careful where you hook that bumper when you're moving, as Bartlett gets a big impact there on the inside line. Hits the inside barrier, he'll be able to get it going again, but that car has got some damage on it now.
Yeah, in fact, Spencer Preet actually got into the back of the 50. He tried to dive in behind that number 50 Lucky right at the last second. That's what caused that huge momentum shift with Bartlett, and unfortunately, that's going to send Bartlett all the way back to what is now 26th position. So relatively, he's only 1 position up from where he started, but he's still basically just back to where he started, as Raymond Rittenauer apparently is in road, I believe. No, he's not actually. He is, I believe, dropped out, unfortunately, and he has. So a few issues for Raymond Rittenauer, and hopefully for him he can get back up as quick as possible. But speaking of getting up as quick as possible, hello to Josh Hanner and Corey Henry. And, well, Jorgensen's going to pull a little bit of a defensive line right now. Going to try and block both lanes. He may get split 3 wide here. This is going to turn out to be very terrible for Jorgensen right now, and yep, it's 3 wide right now. Jorgensen is in the place where nobody wants to be.
In the sucker hole for Martin Jorgensen Jr. here. His 2 cars, a top and a bottom of him right now. Is that kind of nearly made him 5 wide for a second there if we added up all the cars that had an overlap, but not entirely, of course, as Jorgensen now gets Preet to help him, and Levine leaving 2 on the outside, 5 on the bottom, 5 in the middle, and 2 on top. That is, this is more like Talladega racing. 3 actual lanes going on here almost.
Well, definitely Talladega racing, because this is stressing me out. And again, I'm only watching this, and oh, hello, goodness gracious, Josh Hanner almost got into the side of Justin Levine there in turns 3 and 4. And oh, goodness, Corey Henry almost got to the side of Harry Tiller there, just coming out of turns 3 and 4. Goodness, I'm starting to see a pattern here. So 3 wide, Chris Bassini, who is he going to follow? Looks like he's going to follow the 12 of Henry. But unfortunately,
These guys learn nothing, really.
I mean, I don't see why you would go to the side where you don't really. I was just about to bring it up as well. I don't see why you would go to the side. And there goes Jorgensen around. Now he's going to save it. Everyone's going to be scrambling for position here.
That was nearly a massive moment for Jorgensen Jr. as he slaps Altmans, and everyone panics there and manages to hold it together for now as everyone filters back in again. We're still 3 wide in parts as these guys are doing what they can to try and hold this thing together, and this is some serious pack racing.
Like he gets
Round goes the 50. It was going to happen eventually. Caution will fly. Oh, hard to the inside wall there for Ludke. that was going to happen at some point. This was destined for doom.
Brown
this grouping of cars. Yeah, the 12 got a piece of that. Brown got involved as well. Corey Henry, Ludke, and Travis Brown all involved in that, as everyone could finally take a breather from racing they didn't really need to do at this point of the race. We might actually cross the halfway point under caution.
Yeah, again, it was the bumper hook again, but this time Travis Brown, he was trying to move to the inside as quick as possible, and well, unfortunately that didn't go to plan for him, and looks like he's going to be, I believe he's either done or he's in the backup car. So, like you mentioned, yeah, we're at lap 35 at the moment, working lap 35, I should say, completed 34 laps. So, yeah, like you said, I believe we should be just barely getting to that. Maybe, I believe it should be a one-lap shootout for the stage end, I believe, so that's going to be interesting. But before everybody panicked and before we almost had a big one once again, I was going to say, why would you head to the high side when there's pretty much no draft there, unless you're, I mean, especially heading into the corner. So unfortunate that that did happen for those three drivers, mainly Brown and the 50 of Lucky. So, oh man, hopefully if Lucky does have a backup car, he can repair.
Certainly does, of course. And well, folks, we are going to take a very brief break from this one tonight. We'll be right back after this one and we'll get your shootout for the stage win. So stick with us.
So obviously you guys have come from the virtual world to reality. What do you think about a sim racer coming in the real world? What were your expectations coming in?
Coming from iRacing, you know, a computer program basically down here to a real world scenario where you got all these guys with all these years and years and years and years of experience that are also using iRacing as a tool to come out and run against those guys and beat them and finish ahead of them and show them, you know, there's a thing or two you might be missing is fantastic. You know, I mean, that's a skill that I know I don't have, and I can appreciate it because whew, I'm terrible at iRacing.
Glenn was able to come into the team. We did a lot of preseason testing, actually a full season's worth of testing before we even started the season. And he came in, there was a lot of sectors that he was the fastest guy out of our team. And Sparky and I looking at data, trying to catch up to him through some turns. And of course, you know, some places Sparky will be the fastest or I'll be the fastest, and Glenn is able to learn from, you know, what we're doing, and vice versa. So it was excellent to see his pace right off of the bat, and speed was never a worry. You know, it's about qualifying well. Qualifying is very difficult, you know, and pretty important in this series. And so is, you know, being able to make effective passes without contact. It's very difficult to pass in these cars, so, you know, it's not easy being here. I think the level of ultra competitiveness in here, where normally when you make a pass, you're making a pass with 2 cars involved. But if we're making a pass in this series, you have to remember there's 5 cars waiting behind you. If you mess up that pass, they're going by you.
Yeah, it's like sharks.
Yeah, you're surrounded by sharks. But no, it's been I've been very surprised and very pleased with it. And obviously, I have the 2 champions I'm sitting between. John actually statistically is the most successful MX-5 Cup driver in the world. He owns every record that you would want, none of the bad records.
Maybe some of them, I don't know.
Maybe some of those. And Sparky's one of the quickest guys in the paddock, and you know, obviously the champion now. So I couldn't have picked a better team to be with 6 Sideways. I'm looking at what everybody in the paddock calls gold. I mean, they will pay to look at John and Sparky's data, and I get full access to it. And I get to see where I'm doing well and see where I can improve. And I've been really pleased with my progress.
The best late model stock drivers in the country kick off 2018 racing for $10,000 at Tri-County Motor Speedway when the Cars Tour visits for the Do the Do 150. Bring a Mountain Dew product to save $3 off admission, or Do the Do 4-pack with 4 tickets, 4 dogs, and 4 dews for only $60. Gates open at 1, racing begins at 3 on Saturday, March 10th. Advance tickets are on sale now. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit carsracingtour.com.
Welcome back to the Superspeedway Cup Series here on iRacing, powered by Sunwest Construction and LSRTV, of course. And we're going back to green in just a few moments' time after caution number 4 tonight, after what has been kind of the more active of the races for the Wreckers crews, of course. Rod Flag, Justin Devine, Spencer Preet, Joel Gutton Jr., Harry Tilley, the top 5, with Corey Henry, Rodney Wofford, Andrew Schimmer, Alex Russell, Mike Schultz in 10th place. Well, it's lap 38. We go back to green on 39, which means we have 2 laps. Essentially a stage race green-white checker. This should be interesting, Gary. Not like we needed more tension.
Oh yeah, well, it could be worse. It could be near the end of the race. So, I mean, in a way, it's better. So, there's that. And that's, yeah, no, this is pretty much all the tension that we have right now. Pretty much, if you will, on the proverbial cut line for at least stage points, which I believe is the top 10. I'm looking around. It should be the... Yep, so the number 16 of Mike Schultz is going to be running out that top 10. And it's going to be Raymond Lees and TJ Buck right behind him, plus everybody else, just in case anything were to happen. And of course, well, after seeing the race so far, I'm pretty sure something is definitely going to happen, and it's going to be very, very intense 2 laps.
Certainly is, and well, the base car comes off and hopes he doesn't have to come out again before our stage end in 2 laps time. Field under the command of Rod Flag, who was on the pole tonight. He's back there for this start. And we wait for the starter to wave that flag, trepidation in his eyes as he prepares to let them go back to racing. The flag waves, and big run there by Joel Gutton Jr., who started with your leader, pushing Levine actually up and in front of Rod Flag. Big start there by Jorgensen as he shoves with everything he's got. Even Corey Henry as well, pushing to a massive start there, which might actually cost Rod Flag the lead here on the backstretch.
Yeah, Levine so far does have the advantage as of right now, so as much as Jorgensen can keep pushing down the back straightaway, well, right now it doesn't seem like it, unfortunately, so right now it's just going to be side-by-side battle and maybe just a bit too close. Of course, side draft is always a good thing to attempt, just never on the stage ending. because you're going to end up either getting yourself in the wall. There goes Jorgensen down to the bottom side, so he's going to take advantage of this and hope that Levine gets left out to dry and drops back. Gets that third place position. The final lap of this stage, which ends once we complete lap 41. Jorgensen almost into Levine as well.
Absolutely, and Levine there now with Corey Henry on the outside as Flag still maintains that lead. We'll have to see how this one does develop forwards, but I can guarantee Jorgensen will be back out on that high side before too long, as things get a little shaky down the backstretch there. We're going to come to the end of 40 this time by, and this will be for the stage. Expect Preet to come out and have a go as well. Everyone wants to win that stage points. It makes a bigger difference to your championship climb if you haven't got a win. And then again, even if it does, for the playoff points. So we'll see just what happens here as Preet's already looking as they head towards tri-oval now. Lap 40, the caution flag will fly after the top 10 clear it, and Preet's already gone for it. There's a couple of cars making a few moves here, but Rod Flag will hold it. Flag wins your stage, but will it last? Preet goes up high, tries to come down to get a run as the flag, we're waiting for it to come out. Nothing yet. Everyone's kind of slowing down, and there we go, the caution. They were already slowing down before the flag flew. They kind of knew it was happening, but there we go. That is our stage end here on lap 40, and it feels like hours have passed to reach this point.
Well, almost quite literally 56 minutes and, well, 0 seconds, unless you count the 0.978 seconds. Then in that case, 56 minutes and 1 second if you want to round. So, Rod Flag, your stage winner for tonight. Spencer Preet, Jorgensen Jr. top 3. Harry Taylor, Rodney Wofford top 4th and 5th. Justin Levine, Andrew Schmier, Corey Henry, Alex Russell, and Mike Schultz 6th through 10th.
Certainly is. In fact, well, it's the midway point in tonight's race. Let's take a look at our iRacing midway race break, brought to you by iRacing, the leading online racing simulation, of course, developed from the beginning as a centralized racing and competition service. iRacing organizes, hosts, and officiates races on virtual tracks all around the world. In a fast-paced world of esports, iRacing is a one-stop shop for online racing, with officially sanctioned racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, World of Outlaws, Global Rallycross, and more. Take a look at our running order as it stands for the time being. Rod Flag, Spencer Preet, Jorgensen Jr., Tiller, Wofford, Levine, Schimmer, Henry, Schultz. Russell is your top 10 with Lees, Schwartz, Reagan Jr., Buck, Piccolello in 15th place with Cozy Jr., Mike Thiel, Victor Bartlett, Nick Olsen, and Scott Warren in 20th place. Dan Harrington, Paul Simpson-Payne, 22nd place. Corey Smith, Josh Hanna, Jason Altmans in 25th. PJ O'Leary, Chris Bassini, Gary Champion, Frank Brasilia III, Andrew Berger in 30th with Travis Brown, John Ludke, Ray Rittenhouse 2nd, and Daniel Holloway in 34th place. That, of course, has been a look at your iRacing midway race break, and for more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. Thanks to our friends at Red Bull Global Rallycross, you can now visit iRacing.com/membership and use the code PR-GRC for an opportunity to start your career on iRacing with 3 months for only $5. That is promo code PR-GRC for new members only. Well, Gary, so far it's been a turbulent race. Pit cycle going through there, and we'll get some shake-up in our running order, but, well, it has been a very busy first half of this race.
Yep, this is our, well, counting at least the stage, this is our 5th caution. 4 cautions coming out from actual race incidents. And of course, like you said, a major shakeup in the entire top 10. I'm seeing Richard Reagan Jr. in 1st, TJ Buck 2nd, Joey Piccoella in 3rd as well. So, in fact, Joey was actually 20, ironically, is in the number 22, and he is 22 positions up from where he started, 25th place. So, good job for him as well. But, of course, we're not even done with the race yet. So, of course, so far he has the title of, well, if you will, the highest, what is that, the highest, what, biggest mover of the race. That is the words I'm looking for. And meanwhile, well, your top speed is pretty much insane. Josh Hanner in the number 2, looking at this on JRT, his top speed 205.9 miles an hour, just 0.1 away from 206. Well, welcome to Talladega.
Absolutely welcome to Talladega indeed. Well, One of the biggest tracks in NASCAR, if not the biggest track in NASCAR, certainly never disappoints.
Yeah, it's definitely giving us some exciting action as well today, so should be getting the, hopefully, at least the 2 to green this time around. So, of course, I'm saying Scott Warren in 5th, Dan Harrington in 6th, Jason Altman still in the top 10, Gary Champion 8th, Andrew Berger 9th, and Travis Brown in 10th. So, just a small but still a major shakeup, especially if you're Richard Reagan Jr. started 7th, actually. Most likely fell off to the back just for safety precautions. Haven't seen him up here since then, actually, so props to him for getting some good pit strategy as well, because, well, that's pretty much the only reason why he's out in front as well.
Certainly is, of course, and strategy plays a massive part in this sort of racing, and these guys are doing exactly what they have to do to get this race done. We're going to go back to green with about 30 laps left to go in this one, Gary, and 30 laps, a heck of a lot can happen, as we've seen so far.
Yeah, a lot happened in the first half of the race as well, and, well, just to expand on Richard Reagan Jr. for his pit strategy, well, in a way I was right. He didn't have the pit road, so maybe just taking as many points as he can. He did stay out, so maybe he's already pretty much well ahead on his strategy, but of course, hopefully that can play out for him just a little bit longer, at least in time if we do get another caution as well. Unfortunately, I'm looking at Scott Warren's vehicle, and it's pretty much banged up all the way around, unfortunately, so of course I'm seeing pretty much a very heavy back end and a little bit of pretty much a quarter panel damage on the front as well, I should say, front panel damage, so also seeing the same little bit of front end damage on Dan Harrington as well. So again, just a lot of people. That shows how many people are still going after that very first wreck that we had as well.
Certainly is, of course, and well, it's been a busy one tonight to this stage, and well, yeah, I think it all got set with the tone on that first lap incident, as you mentioned, of course, and as you say, after the caution swings round, it's Reagan Jr., Buck, Warren, Harrington, Altman's, Hannah, Champion, Berger, Brown, and Preet. Brown burgers, Burger Brown. That sounds tasty, actually. I'm kind of hungry. It's about 3:30 in the morning here, and I've got midnight munchies.
Yeah, that makes sense. I probably would be too, but then again, I don't think I could stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning. Actually, I did for the Daytona 24 hours, so. Anyway, Richard Reagan Jr., he does at least have one more chance to pit if he can. I believe pit road is closed at this point, so 1 lap to green is what I am assuming once the pace car crosses the start-finish line. Again, it's always that extra pay for this pace car driver, of course. I'm pretty sure he's enjoying this as well. Making those lights flash, leading the field of what's now 31 drivers as well. I've been seeing about 3 people out, 2 of which are still sitting on pit road. One of those drivers, I believe, is the 50 of Job Monkey. Actually, I believe he's out of his race car as well, so just taking a break as well. So 31 drivers, and of course all 31 of these drivers are on the lead lap as well. So pace car lights are out, thankfully. We'll be going green with 30 laps to go once we hit the green once again.
Certainly is, of course, and well, the green flag will be back out this lap. And Gary, 30 laps, when do you start to pit? When is your strategy call?
Well, I would say just do what, that's actually it depends on the track, actually. So for me, I'd say if you can, at least try to split it in half. And that sounds pretty familiar, especially if you watch the NASCAR Monster Energy Series Cup race as well at Atlanta. Of course, some drivers did split their pit strategy in half, and it did benefit them, I believe. I also cannot remember that. So if you can split in half, or at least pit on an even number, so you don't have to stress you or your crew chief out on terms of pit strategy with laps remaining. So if you can, at least pit either as soon as possible, because I'm pretty sure we're in the window of that, at least within the 30 lap fuel mark. So it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers do for these final 30 laps and what their pit strategy is.
Certainly will be, of course, and I look forward to seeing exactly what they do choose to do. Do they come in after 10? Do they wait the full 20? Or do we get multiple cautions and it matters nothing at all? I'm sure we'll find out. But Richard Reagan Jr. will lead us back to the green flag this time by as we come through turn number 4 here at Talladega. Ready to get this thing kicked back off again, of course, here, Gary. And, well, 30 laps, so much can happen.
A lot can happen in 30 laps. A lot happened in these first 45 laps. Pace car dives down to its safety of pit road. So, of course, again, just those extra 1,000 feet. It's going to be a difference here. Does Richard Reagan have enough to at least stay on his own pit strategy, or can TJ Buck completely spoil that? We're going to find out. Edging a little bit ahead is Richard Reagan. Green is flying, and we are down and away. TJ didn't really get going, unfortunately. That's why you have everyone else behind you. And
problems
behind you.
Corey Henry and I believe Victor Bartlett going around there. As problems on the restart. We're going to replay off that one for you, but problems there as the field fanned out. Tiller and Passini went wide, and then it was like, I think Thiel hits Henry, and Henry goes into Bartlett. The two of them spin to the infield, both of them on their last cars, I think, at this point, and already damaged. That is not ideal for these guys, as they're going to have to try and get themselves going again out of the draft. And it's 3 wide already at the front here as Berger goes at the middle of the 82 of Harrington, pushes the 84 alongside Josh Hanna. So frantic already here back at the front. They've restarted as they went from the last run, and it's just going to keep going, I think.
I was about to say, I think Henry missed a shift, but in fact, Rod Flag gets almost turned around by Spencer Pre. He's going to keep it on the apron, or at least the low side, now actually down to the apron, and then back to the low side as well. Everyone making evasive action as well, so well, we're getting a lot of action. Gary Champion almost getting turned again by Spencer Pre, who was all over his back bumper. Not really ideal. Spencer Pre having a few of his issues as well, so again, just something that you really don't want to have happen is just being all over your back bumper. That inside line momentum is now pretty much gone. You can now move Jason Ullman and TJ Buck. Well, TJ Buck still in second. Jason Ullman back in the lead as well. And goodness, Justin Levine, I saw him go all the way up to the high side. Not sure if that's by design or something must have happened to him.
Certainly is, and well, the racing still fairly frantic up here at the sharp end as Berger gets loose there in the triangle, keeps it going though. It's going to be Cozy Jr. leading the outside lane, along there with the number 34 of Joshua Schwartz. Looks like Basilia III's back up there in his McDonald's nighttime car. Love that livery actually on Basilia III's car. One of the prettier McDonald's liveries I've seen, the McDigging machine. His course line in the last couple of liveries.
Almost a little bit of contact between those two as well. 34 and 94 almost made contact. I think Joshua Schwartz was a little too focused on at least the 77 of Cozy. So Cozy back up to where he was pretty much at this point a week ago, almost roughly around here. He was near the front, and then unfortunate things happened to him, so maybe he can get a little bit of redemption this week. Of course, well, Victor Bartlett did win last week. Unfortunately, he is all the way down in 30th, so I believe that's his second time, actually, that he's had that kind of bad luck. So hopefully for Cozy, he can make some redemption compared to last week. And maybe we could see a first-time winner in some of these drivers. I believe TJ Buck has not yet won. They're going to double-check that as well. And of course, like you said, a lot can happen in 30 laps. Well, we're pretty much down with those 4 laps. At least we're just about to complete those 4 laps as well. And I was right in that TJ...
Oh,
sorry.
I heard problems.
Yep, there it is.
Yep, I heard the squeal of tires hitting something, and we'll try and find out where that happened. I'm not entirely sure.
Alex Russell.
Oh, it was back. Yes, Alex Russell around the 10 car, and yeah, he actually came down on the 10 and got wrapped around the nose, and that put him into, I believe that was 16, and oh yeah,
Scott 76. That was Scott
76.
Warren.
Yeah,
Passini barely gets by again.
Got a touch though, I think Passini did in that one. I'll have to look back at the replay and find out what happened. We'll show you the replay here, of course, but I think Passini got a bit of a... No, yeah, Passini got a hit. Passini took a hit to his front corner from the number 91, so that is Passini's day might be done here. He's had enough damage to that car to last him a lifetime. But we're back under caution here, and we will actually head away to a commercial break here, folks. You don't want to be sitting here listening to us try and waffle for another 10 minutes during his caution, so we'll be right back when we come to the green flag. Just give us a few moments. You've been watching the Sunwest Construction Superspeedway Cup Series here on LSRTV.
When I was 16 years old, I was working at a Goodyear tire store, and my boss actually built an old dirt car, street stock Monte Carlo. Went with him one night, fell in love with it. It was a hell of a race, hell of a party, and a big fight afterwards. I was like, this is it. This is it for me. It wasn't long after that, I was driving an old 78 Camaro out of the weeds at that guy's farm. We pulled that thing out and made a race car out of it, and away we went. You know, I think a driver has more to do with the equation going back and racing dirt, whether it's a modified, a late model. You can do more with the race car. You know, the harder you drive it, a lot of times, the better it goes. You can crawl up on that wheel and feel like you made the difference at the end of the night. Asphalt car, you can't overdrive them. Well, that was the first thing that I had to learn right off the bat is, oh my gosh, I've got to discipline myself, not overdrive this thing, and that's how you get the most out of it. Truth be told, communicating the right information to your crew and your crew chief so they can do their job and make their appropriate adjustments for you to go faster and do your job is probably 90% of the game in our world. I've always loved late models. You know, my dream was to be a late model driver driving for a living across the country like Daryl and Don do that drive for me. I mean, that was, truth be told, that was my dream, you know. I always wanted a semi. I always wanted a stacker trailer with 2 hot rods in it, and let's go racing. Let's take off with your buddies and go race and chase that dream. Never in a million years did I think it would turn into a Cup Series, and I actually have an opportunity to own 2 you know, dirt late model teams. When you think of iRacing, you don't think of a video game. It's not. It's way above and beyond any of that. You know, dirt racing changes so much. The track changes so much. Being able to capture that, to, you know, experience all those details that surround dirt racing and make dirt racing what it is what makes iRacing so cool, because they did nail all of that. I knew when they came to our shop and scanned cars and went to the detail of getting that car right, I knew that it was going to be over the top, because it blew my mind just the work that went into making sure the car itself was legit. This sport has been around a long time. The competition can't be replaced, and that's what brings people back to the racetrack week in and week out.
You know, really enjoy dirt racing. Feels good to get in the car, and we have you know, great cars and engines and things at KKR, so it's nice to drive a fast sprint car.
Couple of separate lines developing, 3 wide action on a turn 2. Craig Kitzer, Casey Kane, and Kieran Pittman going at it.
I think the differences between, you know, NASCAR and the sprint races on dirt is just a much different mindset. The way you drive your cars, the setup, the feel you're looking for. I think one of the hardest things to tell as a fan is when you're watching a race, whether it's a NASCAR race, a dirt race, is just what's really going on in the car. with iRacing. You can get the way that the track's changing, which they've done a great job in how the track changes throughout the night or throughout the race, just to try to capture it and let the fans play it and realize, like, man, there's actually a lot going on, and you can't always see that when you watch a race. So I think it's pretty neat. It's, you know, enjoyable for me, but at the end of the day, it's actually much of a simulation, and there's a lot of ways that you can learn from that. And, you know, early on, it was neat to look at the Cup tracks that I was going to, places that I had never been. So I think it kind of gives you a head start leading into a weekend. It's pretty real life, and that's pretty neat.
I'm driving the number 20 JGR Toyota Xfinity car this weekend. Really great opportunity here at New Hampshire at my home track. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been on iRacing, practicing a little bit here and there with the modified and the NASCAR Xfinity car, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great tool for me to kind of get used to that stock car body again and be prepared for the race today. Well, yeah, it's a mile long, so the draft kind of plays into effect here with the modifieds. Punches a big hole in the air, and we run restrictor plates. So it makes a big difference. Just really fast, and it's our Daytona. So that's what's great about it, and we have a fast car for tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is they're heavier cars. The tire's a lot different. And the way you go about setting them up is a lot different. They use all 4 tires more than a modified, where we typically drive off the right rear, you know, so. Well, actually, it's funny. I raced NASCAR race in 2003 before iRacing came about. And then when iRacing came about, my friend Kevin Iannarelli, who works at iRacing, kind of told me, hey, man, you need to switch over to this. And when I did, I was like, oh, my God, this is like real life. So I started using it as a tool of mine to really prepare for modified races, whether it was Stafford or Thompson or Loudon, Bristol, and then obviously the Xfinity Series last year, going to road courses, trying to get laps, and use it as a tool that can get me as prepared as I could be without actually doing it. So it's been great.
Welcome back to the Sunwest Construction Superspeedway Cup Series here on LSRTV. Rich Wyford and Gary Weaver with you tonight, and Cisco are of course in the booth. We are back here on lap 54 under caution as we get ready to wrap this one up and come back to green flag. We'll be on 1 to go now, and we'll have 20 laps to go when we cross the line, Gary, so this thing's winding up pretty quick, but it's been a long race so far.
Yeah, as of the start finish on a while ago, 1 hour, 18 minutes, 16.941 seconds. And fortunately, that time is about to be cut down, at least in terms of how quick that time is going away. So 21 laps to go once we hit the green flag. And, well, Michael Costi Jr. is back out in front, but of course right beside him is going to be that number 94, Mr. McDigan, Frank Busilia, in that number 94. I love that paint scheme, to be honest. It's just simply amazing. Josh Henner restarting in third. Fourth will be Richard Reagan Jr., Spencer Preet rounds out your top 5. Rod Flag, Andrew Berger, Harry Tiller, Nick Olson, and Justin Levine 6th through 10th.
They are indeed, and well, the race ready to go back to green flag now, and it'll be lap 55 when we go back to the start. Cozy Jr. and Frank Basili are out front. We'll see how this thing goes to the restart. Cozy Jr. has been quick this season. Will we see our 8th winner in 8 races, or will we see a first repeat this season? This is how it started last season, of course. Multiple winners. I think we went 11 before we got a repeat last season. But base car is off. Field under the command of Cozy Jr. and the starter has the flag. Green flag will wave. Bottom up on the outside as everyone gets going, but it's a good start by outside. Look at that, Basili the third, clear of Cozy Jr. before turn 1, turn 3.
Now that is how we start on the outside. That just puts Atlanta to shame, no doubt. But unfortunately, though, Richard Reagan Jr., Rod Flag, and Harry Tiller all stuck on the high side, and just right behind them, Nick Olson almost got himself turned on Travis Brown's car, just coming out turn number 2. Again, just another thing you have to pay attention and listen to your spotter. Make sure you're actually clear before moving down low as quick as possible. Thankfully, you don't have any incidents, and well, right when I say that, 2 in the 46 almost scraping doors through turns 3 and 4. Thankfully, though, everyone's still relatively, well, almost not really, single file, double file, if you will. 20 laps to go. 20 more laps of racing.
Certainly is, and it's still Basili the third who's leading the race right now in his McDonald's Ford Fusion. There's Cozy Jr., Josh Hanna, Spencer Preet, Berger, Tiller with Reagan Jr., and of course Rod Flag up there as well. And a very busy top 10 for you as everyone's struggling to find a place in line. We might see this thing single file out and get some laps under our belt, Gary.
Yeah, unfortunately for these guys, they're still relatively single file. They know it's coming near to the end of the race, unless you still want to make that outside line work as quick as possible. And Harry is almost going to get himself turned, split 3 wide. Oh, almost got that as well. He's going to have to back out of it. Goodness gracious, hello.
That was nearly a disaster again. We've seen so far tonight several times.
Yep, that was just another one of our many close calls. So, of course, again, you just have to be very careful on when you're making that move. If you want to go through the line, at least commit to it. Don't try and move back down if you change your mind for the last second. In that case, it's pretty much over. Now a 3-car outside lane as well. Back to a 3-car outside lane. It's Justin Levine and Rod Flag now join. Same with the 14. And, well, never mind, actually. So back to 4 as now number 2 is going to jump out to the high side.
Oh, so he is. And I thought we had an issue there with Levine, as multiple cars having some issues here on the racetrack and moving around a wee bit. But out front, big run here by Josh Hanna with Reagan Jr., Travis Brown, Justin Levine there, and Rod Flag, along with the 14 just back there of Nick Olson. Those guys making a good push towards the front here, as we might see some action. Oh, caution will fly.
Oh, that's number 12 of Corey Henry spinning, and Gary Champion barely gets by as well, thankfully for him. And it was the bumper hook again. Henry.
This might be him out now by this time. I think he's done at this point, but I believe that was a fairly harmless wreck, as pretty much everyone escaped, apart from, unfortunately, the 5-car who got plowed into the wall with him. Raymond Lees is donezo as well. 2 cars out, I think, at this point, which will join the likes of Daniel Holloway, Ray Rittenhouse second, John Luckey. Everyone else, though, is still running, although that might now be down to more drivers.
Yeah, Raymond Lees, unfortunately, is out. Apparently his steering was pretty much bent upon, well, steering. So, of course, he is dropping down the order through JRT right now, 23rd. And, well, right now he's in 23rd, 24th. So, Frank Brasilia right now is, after an amazing jump on the outside lane, he's currently in first. Michael Cozy Jr. second. Josh Hanner third. So, relatively pretty much the same top 3, top 5, top 10, if you will, just a little bit mixed up in the order.
Certainly is, and well, we'll get that restart coming up in just a short while. But it has been a very, very, very crazy race to date, and this is caution number 7, I believe, we've got on tonight's race. Lap 59, so we'll be on 15 to go this time by the line, which means we'll be just inside the 15 to go when we come back to green, probably about the 13 or 12 to go mark. So things are only going to pick up, which is kind of concerning.
Yeah, by the way, everyone's been racing so far. It's again, like you said, a bit concerning actually, because, well, we've all seen how these drivers are racing. They made it to the stage end, at least, without wrecking, for the most part. Actually, no, they did make it without wrecking, thankfully. So how they're going to race coming to the end of the actual race, well, that's a different question.
A different question that actually scares me, based on current tendencies. It's been a little bit on the dramatic side so far, and I'm kind of hoping they calm down a bit.
And again, this is Talladega, so nothing is ever really calm unless you count these cautions. Then in that case, well, yeah, it's pretty calm actually. So, in fact, I'm pretty sure the only calm points of this race as well.
That would be true, as these guys really need to work on, obviously, as we discussed, you know, you've got to push with this draft package to really get anything going, and unfortunately, by pushing and having to push hard to make any momentum, you end up in these situations where people don't want to give up momentum they have, and you end up with big knots of cars and problems happen and people pushing all the time. We end up in this vicious cycle.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just something no one can really break out of and actually come to some type of sense and say, okay, I'm going to ride in this position here on this line. So, unfortunately, still more like maybe 1.5 laps to green. Basic lights are still on, unfortunately. So, looks like we will be getting another lap. Maybe this could be our last lap. This should be on our 2 to green. So, Spencer Pre, I'm seeing, is in 5th right now. Biggest mover of the race, looking through JRT, shows the number 4 of Justin Levine. 19 positions out from where he started. And of course, that was, well, once I can actually find him on the scoring chart, that was 26th as well. So the only driver that started within the 20s to be in the top 10 at the moment. If he could finish top 5, that would be even better, and he is so far in good condition to actually get into the top 5, at least at the moment in terms of restarts. Alex Russell, Corey Smith, Raymond Lees, John Lucky, Raymond Rittenauer, and Daniel Holloway are those 6 drivers that are out. 28 drivers on the lead lap.
Certainly are, and well, 20 drivers on that lead lap who are going to have a chance to race for the end of this thing and the win. But right now, of course, Basilia, with that big jump at the start, managed to get himself up to the lead position. It wasn't a jump start per se, just a really good launch. They both started at the same time, but was predicted that green flag a little bit better, as of course they do restart here on green. So it is possible for the outside to actually get a better jump here, Gary, when the field has to go on the green flag. You know, the leader doesn't dictate. It's who reacts of the 2 lanes now to the green flag.
Yeah, we saw that example as well with the 94 Brasilia. He got an amazing start as well, and of course amazing help from behind heading into turn number 1, and of course, well, that's where he is right now. Got into that first place position as quick as possible. That's the first time I've seen that happen as well, so just an amazing job by Frank Brasilia to time that as perfect as possible. The driver behind him as well. So again, just unfortunately for this pace car, I'm pretty sure definitely getting extra pay at this point because the lights are still on. So this time it should be 2 to green. Next time around when we cross the start finish line should be that 1 to go signal. So it's 13 laps to go once we hit the green at this point. So just all comes down to, this is pretty much the calm before the storm, if you will.
Oh, absolutely. This is the calm before the biggest storm we'll see in this series, as we'll be on, I believe, yeah, 14 to go for this restart. And that is 14 laps these guys must race hard for. They want a chance to win this thing, and it could be a first-time winner this season to add to the others. That's going to be a lot of work for these guys, a lot of work. But I'm sure they can do it. I'm sure we'll see it happen. As I actually go back and check on my time and scoring document here, what we have so far. Now, Basilia has a win, as does, of course, Jorgensen Jr., Wofford, Cozy, Hedrick, Bartlett, Champion, Berger, not Berger, sorry, which means that this group at the front, Hannah could win. Cozy, as we mentioned, already has a win. Reagan Jr. doesn't. Preet does not. Preet won last season. Could he win this season? Of course, it's Berger, Warren, Preet, Henry, Levine, Flagg, Lyons, and Harrington. Close in points, but just not quite in there yet. So, as we get ready to form up here, any of those drivers could have a chance. And there's 2 in the top 10 who've won so far. The rest are all desperate to.
Yeah, so 8 drivers are going to be looking and trying to get their win and get in as best and as quick as possible. I'm looking through Justin Levine, one of those drivers. He is, looks like I'm looking about 15, 14, 13th, I believe 12th actually. He is on that cut line as well, I believe, of those point standings. 53 points out. He is restarting in 7th on the inside lane, luckily for him. So any point that he can get from this point on, unintentional pun, it's going to be very helpful for him.
Absolutely will be, and they need to make sure they can do just that, but there's still a lot of race left to go, and we'll find out whether or not they can achieve it. A lot of laps still left to go. 14 laps. We managed to have 2 cautions inside 14 laps, so the same thing could happen here, as this is going to be one of our longer races despite the shorter race duration on this thing. I think we're going to be on 13 laps actually when we come back to go green here, Gary. So, predictions?
Oh goodness, from this entire race that we've seen so far, definitely, unless it's a miracle, definitely not a green flag run. And honestly, I was looking, I just wanted to make sure. I was about to say, don't we have 7 laps to go? Of course, it's those extra 5 laps that always throw me off at these kind of races. So I'm expecting at least 1 more caution, and well, if the unfortunate does happen, we're probably going to be finishing under caution.
Probably will be, and ending under caution is not a great way to go, but it's one of the ways we've had to deal with in the past, and well, we still get a winner. I personally want to see an 8th different winner tonight, a different winner who hasn't won this season, just to make this playoff even more interesting.
Hopefully that does happen. Pace car down to pit road as of right now. Frank Basilia going to be on the inside. Josh Henner outside. Cozy Jr., Reagan Jr., Preet, Brown, Levine, Berger, Tiller, and Flagg are your top 10. Waiting for the green flag to come down from the flag stand. It is out right now. Everyone's already all over the back bumper. 24 almost gets turned by Rod Flagg. Everyone's scrambling. Chris Bassini all the way to the outside, 3 wide. Not really the ideal move, especially since everyone is so congested right now. So it's the 84.
Bassini's done that a lot so far this race. He always jumps to the outside to get going this early on. I'm not sure if it's right or not to do, but yeah, some moving, some wiggling around on the racetrack there as guys try to find places to fit in, and Bassini drops back in line down the outside. Right now, Basilia leads the way with Cozy. Hannah drops back on the outside. Preet on the inside, Reagan Jr. and Levine. And it's going to be Hannah, Brown, Tiller, Berger, Flagg on the outside lane as they push forwards here, and I don't like the sound of some of these noises these cars are making.
All the way to the outside is going to be Cozy Jr. with help from Spencer Preet as well. Jr. is going to lead this lap. Cozy Jr. is going to lead this lap. Looks like he will be clearing Basilia. No, he will not. He still has that front bumper, and now he's going to be losing that momentum. He did the inside the advantage as of right now, at the very least. And a lot of other drivers already over. There goes number 2. He's going to break loose. Keeps it straight. Surprisingly, everyone's scrambling to avoid. And
we need to replay that. That was insane.
Oh, let's wait at least because, yep, there it is. Caution, turn, 76 gone to the 88. Everyone, there it is.
Oh, this wasn't going to last, unfortunately, as Rodney Wofford with problems there after the aftermath, really, of Josh Hannah's spin, which he got hit another car, but straightened up because he hit him. And we ended up with a great situation there. Jorgensen Jr. involved in that one there. Hits the 76 of Warren, hits Bassini, who's got to be dead this time by, so does Wofford. Oh, unfortunate for these guys. There's multiple cars impacting in that wreck, and, well, once again, we've got one of these terrible situations where we've just got yet another lot of pacing.
And this could be even worse as well, because we're going to be under the 10 lap to go point once the green comes up once again. But at pretty much that moment, it's going to be just everybody trying to figure out what to do.
Certainly is. You, of course, have been watching an LSRTV broadcast here. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back for the finale of this race after caution number 8. Catch you in a few moments.
The best late model stock drivers in the country kick off 2018 racing for $10,000 at Tri-County Motor Speedway when the Cars Tour visits for the Do the Do 150. Bring a Mountain Dew product to save $3 off admission, or Do the Do 4-pack with 4 tickets, 4 dogs, and 4 dews for only $60. Gates open at 1, racing begins at 3 on Saturday, March 10th. Advance tickets are on sale now. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit carsracingtour.com.
Welcome back, folks. We're actually back from commercial early here because we just realised something, unfortunately, and that is that this is basically done, Gary.
Yeah, the race was expected to go at least under an hour 40 minutes. Well, right now the counter is already it's pretty much already counting down right now. 3 minutes 17 seconds remaining. So most of these drivers are already going to be congratulating Frank Busilia. Goodness gracious, as Jorgensen and Wofford are going to be coming up to congratulate him as well. Wofford almost, he's going to give some space as well. This race is basically over.
Yeah, first repeat winner. We aren't going back to green flag, unfortunately, folks. This was it. We managed 66 laps out of 75. Frank Busilia III, your winner tonight on this one. And what a race we've had. It's been absolutely drama-filled and kind of a wreck fest, unfortunately. But sometimes this is what happens at Talladega. I never said it was going to be boring, but it certainly wasn't dull.
Yeah, a lot of action, and of course the very first wreck in turns 3 and 4 before we even complete the first lap, that was pretty much the huge one, and that's what set off pretty much every other event that happened in this race. A butterfly effect, if you will, because everybody was scrambling to get as many points as possible, as quick as possible, and well, unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case for some of these drivers.
No, it certainly doesn't, and unfortunately will be the wrap-up of the race. As, yeah, unfortunately, because this race session is timed, as in the sessions are set to be timed, you have a certain amount of time you can allot for the race, and it's normally a case of number of laps or time. So if you have loads of cautions, the race will end in about the same time it would have taken to complete the race. And because we've had 8 cautions, we've eaten up a heck of a lot of time that we could have finished this race in. So unfortunately, with it being set to a time limit and a number of laps, the race ends. Because of course this is actually a broadcast slot, and the sessions are set to be timed or lapped. So if we either have too many cautions like now, it will end on time, and if we have less cautions, it ends about the same time. So unfortunately, this does actually mean we've run to the end of the race session. So yep, Frank Busilia III, Michael Cozy Jr., Richard Reagan Jr. up there at the front, your top 3. We'll get a chance to chat to those guys in just a few moments' time. And as the pace car will take the cars around the track, no one's pitting because this is over. Our first repeat winner so far, Gary, this season.
Yeah, he's done an amazing job as well. He's stuck that out, and the only reason why he has actually managed to do that, well, first of all, survival. Second of all, just that great timed start as well to get him up front into turn 1 ahead of, I believe, was Cozy Jr. at the time, the leader at the time, heading to turn number 1 on a restart. Did an amazing job. Timer is at 28 seconds and still counting down. So we crossed the line with with 1 minute 11 seconds remaining. So this should be pretty much the white flag as well. The last lap time was 2 minutes basically 30 seconds.
Yeah, the session should call it at the end of this lap, and that will be it for us tonight, unfortunately. And it's not just a matter of buying time in a session, folks. These race sessions, you can select this time. This is deliberately set. We've had races in the past, back when we actually had longer lap times, you know, up to 100 laps at Daytona, and I think it was 96 at Talladega. It was set to be an actual race time as well, because sometimes with a lot of cautions it runs past that time, and those races could last 2.5 3 hours if allowed to run to laps. So this is actually something that's been set in the series since its inception, since its start. It's always been an ability. In fact, it used to happen a lot more often. You know, this used to happen a lot more often back when we actually had the 100 lap and the 96 lap races here at Talladega and Daytona. So it doesn't normally happen with these short races, these shorter races by about 20 laps on both tracks. Never normally happens. Unfortunately, tonight has been such a derp, it has.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate as well. This is at least showing on JRT the last lap, so I believe either this is the final lap or this is going to be the check. We're going to find out what that is in just a few moments, but nonetheless, Frank Busilia will come across the winner either way. So coming across the start-finish line, we're going to look at JRT, and it shows that this race is on its final lap. So white flag this time around. Pace car lights are out. Very funny pace car. But in fact, I'm not sure. I do believe we actually... No, the timer's expired, so I'm pretty sure everyone's just doubling up just because. Never...
Yeah,
yep, alright, there's a caution. So, caution once again thrown by race control since we are ending under yellow. Cozy giving Frank Busilia a congratulatory, how should I put that, door slap? Maybe just a congratulatory side bump, if you will.
Certainly is, of course, and well, a lot of congratulations happening up there for Frank. Like we said, first repeat winner this season.
So he's, of course, this first one coming all the way back in race number 5 at Daytona. That was actually the second repeat winner, since the first one was Rodney Wofford, unless the shootout doesn't count. Then in that case, yes, Frank Busilia is the first repeat winner. But of course, Frank Busilia's last, I believe I actually did mention that, I'm not sure, his last win came pretty much a month ago at this point, this February 16th. I was at Daytona, so almost a month without a win. Well, Frank Busilia has finally broken that streak for 2 wins.
And it's been a long time coming until we saw someone actually reach that point, and I'm kind of impressed to finally see it. I thought we'd actually maybe go 8, 9 perhaps races with the different winners, and maybe if we'd gone back to green we might have done. But in this case, unfortunately, it has been, well, not unfortunately, I hate to say it that way, but for Frank Busilia, of course, it's the best race of his life. He's now won 2. He's very much locked and safe with plenty of points for the playoffs, and of course for the other drivers, a bit of disappointment.
Yeah, Cozy most definitely going to be disappointed since, well, he was definitely most likely looking to get redemption, like I mentioned for last week. He almost won, but of course some problems arose, and of course that did not happen. So right now Cozy's going to be finishing second, but tonight your winner, second time this season, Frank Busilia the third, and, or as I like to call him, Mr. McDiggin.
Mr. McDiggin is now the Mr. McWinner in this one, as the race is officially over, and that's our wrap up. We're going to go to your post-race results. Winner tonight, of course, Frank Busilia the third, Michael Cozy Jr. in second with Reagan in third, Preet in the fourth spot with Levine in fifth.
Travis Brown finishing in 6th, Nick Olson 7th, 8th is going to be Harry Taylor, Jason Altman and Andrew Berger round out 9th and 10th.
11th place tonight, of course, is Rod Flagg, Joshua Schwartz in the 12th spot, Jogster Jr., Scott Warren and Chris Bassini in 15th.
16th is going to be Joey Picoella, 17th Victor Bartlett after an unfortunate incident, Dan Harrington, Andrew Schmier and Gary Champion 18th, 19th and 20th.
21st place tonight, of course, Paul Simpson-Payne, Ronnie Wofford, PJ O'Leary and Mike Schultz, with Corey Henry in 25th.
26th was TJ Buck. He had the highest position of second, his highest position of second place. Mike Thiel will be 27th. Starting the lap or more down cars will be 28th Alex Russell, 29th Corey Smith, Josh Henner 30th, Raymond Lees, John Lucky, Raymond Renauer, and Daniel Holloway 30th through 34th. Unfortunately, some of those drivers did not get the chance to finish the race.
They did not indeed, of course, and that is unfortunate for them, of course, but this is how some things go. So we're going to go to a very short commercial break. We'll be right back with your post-race interviews. Actually, we're not. No, we're not. We're going to stand by because standing by to talk to us that's tonight. Gary's standing by with Richard Reagan Jr.
Well, Richard, you did manage to finish third, and of course only 4 positions up from restart, which was 7th place. And well, unfortunately, the time has expired, and I'm pretty sure you and many other drivers wanted to see this race end under green.
Yeah, I would like to see it go under green, but I mean, I ended up missing the start from having a system issue, so I actually started 30-something, 2 laps down, and I worked my way up to third. So I think that's a pretty good day for me.
Yeah, thankfully you did get the chance to make your way back up onto the lead lap, finish third as well. Well, at the moment of caution, you're just about a half a car length behind Michael Cozy Jr., of course. With all the cautions tonight, did that play any effect into your fuel strategy?
Oh, definitely. You know, we ended up gambling at the stage and stayed out because we were so far behind from the earlier incident. So we just needed track position the whole time, and yeah, luckily it paid off for us, I guess.
Well, since you did finish third, of course, I'm pretty sure you're definitely wanting to thank a lot of people. So who do you have to thank tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Art of Ruin, my sponsors, F1 Sim Games, you guys at LSRTV, Gen X Racing, my spotter, Jesse Abraham, he's up top every week, my teammate Corey Smith, and I'd like to give a shout out to my aunt and my mother for watching, and yeah, I just want to thank you guys for everything you do for us.
It's definitely a pleasure for this tonight as well. Of course, Talladega definitely bringing its fair share of unfortunate luck. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish.
Thank you so much.
So that was Richard Reagan Jr., who finished in 3rd place, and Rachel has finally caught up with our 2nd place finisher as well, and that is Michael Cozy Jr. in the number 77.
So here's Michael Cozy Jr. joining us here. 2nd place tonight, Michael. It's not the win you wanted. A restart might have given you that, but busy race overall.
Yeah, I guess. Well, first off, I'd like to give a shout out to my teammate for killing me on lap 1. Killing most of the field. Poor Harry Tiller. I'm not 100% sure what he did, but he killed a lot of us. So I pretty much rode in the back for the rest of it. So that kind of sucked. But luckily, we made it back through the field and got up to the front really quick. It just kind of sucks though. I'm not 100% sure who to be mad at, but the restart, I got to lead under caution, and I never even got to lead under green. The 46 and the 94 got going really fast, and I haven't gone back and seen it, but it looked like the 94 rolled the start, and the 46 got up behind him and gave him a really big shot. So I had really no chance of racing for the lead there on the restart. And while it wasn't that big of a deal at that point, that's pretty much what cost me the win there, is that, you know, they basically just rolled the restart and just got out in front of me. I had no choice or no chance at it. So I'm not really sure what the rule is on that, but again, it's you're kind of boxed in as when you're the leader there on the start, and the dude on the outside can just roll it and have no issue. And you know, especially if you get a good push like that, you know, you can just take over the lead fairly easy like he did there. So, you know, again, it wasn't a big move at the time, but that's honestly what really cost me there. That, and I don't know what was going behind us, but just a lot of dumb moves.
Certainly was, but either way, 2nd place, great points for you tonight, of course, and you already have a win under your belt, so playoff points, of course, valuable. A win, of course, would have been nice. But anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, first and foremost, I'd like to thank Indie Racing Images for being my main sponsor. Go check them out, IndieRacingImages.com. They got some fantastic stuff, including the new Win Value 20 NASCAR Heat 2 Hero card. No, it's not a joke. But I'd like to thank the rest of my sponsors. Got a lot of them: Spencer Preet, Matthew Hibbard, Ellis Field, Charles Hemingway, Hunter, Cameron Kane, Tyler Dugan. I'd like to thank Nastu, Timbo P, Kevin Blanche, Joey Moore, and I believe that's it. I'd like to thank my teammates as well, Spencer Preet. Me and him, we were trying to get it to where we could both probably maybe clear the leader. Again, we just didn't have enough time, but we both got on that outside line and got rolling. So thanks to him for working with me there at the end. Just didn't play out like usual. But I also like to thank my other teammates, Travis Brown, Harry Tiller. They both had good runs tonight. So it was nice for us all to make it to the finish and have a solid run.
It certainly was. Well, thanks for joining us. Michael Cozy Jr. came home today in second place. Well, next up, we've got a chance to chat to the man himself, Frank Brasilia III. Frank, you came home today with a win. Not perhaps a checkered flag you wanted to see, but a timed win. What we want to know about, though, was that restart.
Hey, thank you. Feels good being up here a couple times this season. But yeah, that restart where I was starting outside of Cozy, the 46, Mr. Reagan, I don't know if he's got something down or is just a lucky dude, but he gave me a shot at the perfect time. And I mean, before I knew it, I was clear, you know, I was all clear. So I don't know what he did or how he timed that the way he did, but I mean, he won me that race essentially. There was some stuff there at the end on that last run where a couple of those team guys, Cozy and maybe it was Brown or Preet, not sure, but got a run on the outside, and he sucked right back up to the back of me, kept me even with him, and had me out front when that last caution came out. So definitely owe him a shout out. But yeah, that was a epic bump to give me the restart and the win. So thank you, Richard.
Certainly was. Anybody like to give a shout out to?
Sure. Of course, you guys for broadcasting LSRTV, Cisco up in the booth. Richard on that restart. Appreciate the shove, man. That was intense. And want to thank him, Rod Flagg, for putting on the league. Sunwest Construction, the sponsor for the league. Appreciate them coming on. You know, all the guys. I mean, this car. This set, this car, it was a complete blast when we had the green flag runs tonight. And I had to back out of this race, come back in, and ended up winning the thing. So, you know, anybody watching, I just want to say, don't give up. Run like hell, run it to the end, and you never know what's going to happen.
Inspiring words there from you, Frank Brasilia III. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you much. Woo!
It's turning into Mark Jorgensen Jr. Well, folks, it's been a busy one here tonight. We're going to let you go. It's been amazing as always here on LSRTV. We're going to see you same time next week. So we'll catch you then.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSRTV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing LLC and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. LSRTV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.